This is every French aircraft of World War II. Fighters, bombers, transports, recon planes, gliders, even autogyros. Over 45 machines, some revolutionary, some hopelessly obsolete, some completely desperate. First up, fighters and interceptors. Dewoitine D.520. This was France's best fighter aircraft during the Battle of France. It was comparable in performance to the German Messerschmitt 109, boasting good speed and heavy armament, but arrived too late in significant numbers to stop the invasion. Morane-Saulnier MS-406. This was the most numerous fighter available to the French Air Force in 1940. Rugged and highly maneuverable, it was unfortunately underpowered and outclassed by modern German opponents, suffering heavy losses in the early campaigns. Bloch MB-152. This sturdy radial-engine fighter was heavily armed and could absorb significant punishment. While it lacked the climbing speed of its rivals, it served extensively in the defense of Paris and proved to be a tough opponent. Curtiss Hawk 75. This American-built export fighter was highly prized by French pilots for its incredible maneuverability and reliable engine. It scored a disproportionately high number of kills against the Luftwaffe during the desperate defense of France. Potez-631. This twin-engine heavy fighter was designed for interception and night fighting roles. Although elegant in design, it was plagued by ineffective engines, leaving it too slow to catch the German bombers it was meant to destroy. Caudron C-714, the Cyclone. This lightweight fighter was built primarily of wood to save strategic resources. It was rejected by the French Air Force, but flown bravely by Polish exile pilots who defended the skies over France. Arsenal VG-33. This was an advanced high-performance light fighter built from non-strategic wood and plywood. It showed incredible promise with excellent speed, but the rapid German advance captured the factories before mass production could truly begin. And now the Bloch MB-151. This was the earlier, underpowered variant of the 150 series. Relegated mostly to training and secondary units by 1940, it still saw desperate combat action when the invasion began, struggling against superior odds. Next up, bombers and attack aircraft. Lioré and Olivier Leo 451. This sleek, modern bomber was the pride of the French Air Force. Fast and well-armed, it was one of the few types capable of operating without fighter escort, though it suffered from complex hydraulic maintenance issues in the field. Breguet 693. This was a dedicated twin-engine ground attack aircraft. It was flown courageously at low altitudes against German armored columns. Despite heavy losses to flak, its crews inflicted significant damage on the advancing enemy forces during the invasion. Amiot 143. This ungainly, obsolete bomber became a symbol of French desperation. With its fixed landing gear and slow speed, it was forced into suicidal daylight raids against bridges, where squadrons were decimated by modern anti-aircraft fire. Next, Bloch MB-174. This was an exceptionally fast reconnaissance bomber that could outrun most German fighters. Its speed made it invaluable for gathering intelligence, and it was famously flown by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry during the chaotic final days. Farman F-222. This massive angular night bomber featured 4 engines arranged in push-pull pairs. It was the only Allied aircraft to bomb Berlin in 1940, dropping propaganda leaflets during a daring long-range mission early in the war. Amiot 354. This streamlined twin-engine bomber was a highly advanced design intended to replace older types. It featured clean aerodynamic lines and high speed, but production delays meant only a handful reached operational units before the armistice was signed. Now this is the Bloch MB-210. This older bomber was the numerical backbone of the night bombing force. While reliable, it was slow and vulnerable, relegated to night operations to avoid interception by superior Luftwaffe fighters. Finally, Douglas DB-7. This American-built light bomber was purchased urgently by France. Fast and agile, it served effectively as a low-level attacker. Many were diverted to Britain after the fall of France, becoming the famous Boston or Havoc. Continuing with transport and utility aircraft. Potez-58. This rugged general-purpose monoplane was used extensively for liaison and observation duties in the colonies. It was simple to maintain and operate from rough airstrips, serving as a vital communication link in remote areas throughout the conflict. Caudron C-630 Simoun. This elegant blue monoplane was originally a mail carrier made famous by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. In wartime, it served as a high-speed liaison aircraft for staff officers, relying on its speed to avoid enemy fighters. Bloch MB-220. This all-metal twin-engine airliner was the French equivalent to the American Douglas DC-3. It was pressed into military service for transport duties, reliably moving troops and VIPs across French territories in North Africa and the mainland. Next, Potez-650. This was a dedicated military transport version of the Potez-62 airliner. It featured a parasol wing design and was utilized to ferry paratroopers and urgent supplies to the front lines during the initial German invasion. Dewoitine D.520. This three-engine airliner was the primary long-range transport for Air France before the war. The military requisitioned these reliable machines to maintain connections with overseas colonies in Indochina and Africa, despite their relatively slow cruising speed. Now this is the Caudron C-440 Goéland or Seagull. This twin-engine utility aircraft was the standard light transport of the French Air Force. It was also used extensively as a flying classroom to train bomber crews and navigators. Farman F-224. This large four-engine transport was a converted bomber design featuring a distinctively thick fuselage. It was used to transport heavy equipment and personnel, though its slow speed made it extremely vulnerable to modern aerial interception. Finally, Bloch MB-81. This all-metal monoplane was designed specifically as an ambulance aircraft for the colonies. It played a critical humanitarian role, evacuating wounded soldiers from the battlefield to rear-area hospitals in Syria and North Africa. Continuing with reconnaissance and maritime aircraft. Potez-63.11. This was the most common reconnaissance aircraft of 1940, easily identified by its extensive glass nose. It suffered terrible losses while trying to track German ground movements, often operating without sufficient fighter protection. Latécoère 298. This was arguably the most effective float-plane torpedo bomber of the war. Rugged and versatile, it attacked Italian shipping and performed dangerous dive-bombing missions against German armored columns during the invasion. Loire 130. This colony-class flying boat was designed to be catapulted from French battleships. It served in every theater from the Caribbean to Indochina, acting as the eyes of the fleet for gunnery observation. Breguet-521 Bizerte. This massive tri-motor flying boat was based on a British design. It was the long-range sentinel of the Atlantic, patrolling for U-boats and rescuing downed airmen in open ocean conditions. Next, Mureaux 117. This parasol wing monoplane was the standard observation aircraft for French Army cooperation. Though sturdy, it was too slow for modern combat and was decimated by flak and fighters while spotting artillery. Lioré et Olivier, LOH-47. This elegant four-engine flying boat was originally built for luxury mail service. Pressed into military patrol duties, it used its impressive range to monitor shipping lanes in the Mediterranean. CAMS 55. This open-cockpit biplane flying boat was a relic of the 1920s still in service. Despite its total obsolescence, crews flew these wooden machines on coastal patrol missions until the very end. Finally, Potez-CAMS 141. This large four-engine flying boat was a modern long-range prototype. It flew operational patrols from North African bases, sinking at least one German submarine and proving itself a capable maritime hunter. Continuing with gliders, Castel C-25S. This side-by-side training glider became famous for its widespread use by the Vichy Youth Flight program. It was later utilized covertly by the resistance to train pilots for the liberation, serving a quiet but vital role. Caudron C-800, the Epervier or Hawk. This modern two-seat glider was designed for efficient pilot instruction. Production continued even under occupation, and it became the standard trainer for the post-war rebirth of French aviation. Next up, trainers. Morane-Saulnier MS-230. This parasol-wing monoplane was the primary trainer for the French Air Force. Its excellent handling and rugged landing gear made it the perfect platform for teaching thousands of pilots the basics of flight before they advanced. Stampe SV-4. Designed in Belgium but built extensively in France, this biplane is legendary for its aerobatic capabilities. It became the standard against which all other biplane trainers were measured, remaining in service for decades. Caudron C-270 Luciole, or Firefly. This light biplane was a favorite in aero clubs before the war. During the conflict, it was requisitioned as a liaison aircraft and elementary trainer for initial flight screening of new recruits. Romano R-82. This was a dedicated aerobatic trainer and advanced biplane. It bridged the gap between basic flight and combat maneuvers, preparing pilots for the high-performance fighters they would eventually fly in desperate aerial battles. Hanriot H-182. This sturdy biplane served largely as a transition trainer. It was used to teach instrument flying and night operations, ensuring cadets could handle complex conditions before joining operational squadrons on the front lines. Morane-Saulnier MS-315, a graceful parasol wing aircraft that served alongside the 230. It remained in service for years, prized for its forgiving flight characteristics and reliability as a primary towing aircraft for glider training. Finally, Caudron C-600 Aiglon, or Eagle. This low-wing monoplane was sleek and fast for its class. It was used for long-distance liaison training, teaching pilots how to navigate across the vast French countryside without radio assistance. Finally, we have helicopters and autogyros. Breguet-Dorand Gyroplane Laboratoire. This was a pioneering experimental helicopter that achieved world records before the war. It proved the feasibility of controlled rotary wing flight, but was unfortunately destroyed in an Allied air raid before development could continue. Lioré et Olivier LEO C-30. This was a license-built version of the famous Sierva autogyro. It was used by the French Navy for observation and liaison duties, operating effectively from short airstrips where conventional aircraft could not land. SNCASE SE-700. This was an advanced autogyro designed for liaison and observation. Hidden from the Germans during the occupation, it flew only after the liberation, representing the bridge between pre-war designs and modern French helicopters.